Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Flying and Eating. Today, let's go somewhere and do something, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Good morning, everyone. It's Adam here. I am currently at O'Hare International Airport here in Chicago. And today's adventure, well, you're just going to have to see, aren't you? We're eventually, my girlfriend and I, we must part for now. We're going to head back to Portugal. So along the way, we're at least going to stop in New York and see what I can show you. Through security, no problems. Now onto the flight. So we are at Newark. We're going to kill a little time at the United Club Lounge. Apparently the new biggest club lounge in the world that United has built is right here. So we wanted to check that out before we eventually head into the city and get some food. It's got its own fancy escalator. And then at the top, well, of course, there's the club. So inside, the fancy new one, we got our little drink area. We got a little library looking thing, food and stuff over there, little areas to sit. Look at that. This one even has showers, guys. This one's crazy. It's just got so much stuff. I mean, they even have a full taco bar. I'm not going to be here very long, though. I'll show you guys this more later because I will be back here very, 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 very soon. And then you'll see more of this. But in the meantime, just enjoy this little teaser. Okay, I realize I didn't really give you much of sightseeing here. A little footage of the Empire State Building, and that was about it. I promise you there will be a time for a big New York video. It's inevitable. Today's not that day. This is just the sampler. So right now, the girlfriend here, as well as the evil Rob Thanos and the evil Rob Thanos, or Mrs. Evil Rob Thanos, Tina, who is not evil at all, much better than Rob. All of us are gonna go get Japanese food. We've got the evil Rob Thanos and his much better half. We're in a new restaurant, dude. Yeah. And do you have any idea what you're getting yet?
No, it's an izakaya. They have an okonomiyaki, which is amazing. One of my favorite Japanese dishes from Osaka. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get anything, it's gonna be good.
Decisions have been made. I'm getting the garlic fried rice as well as the Empire roll because Empire State, New York. What are you doing?
I'm going for sashimi and mono rice, and then tuna tartare dough. Might get something fried too, I don't know.
Do it. Fry everything.
Fry everything.
Well, tell me about your little stomach contents looking thing here.
It's tuna tartare and avocados. It's not yet stomach contents.
I'm just saying, it might be amazing. It just looks like stomach contents.
It's just tuna.
So Rob got some, we got some alcoholic beverages. What do you got here?
So I got a Sapporo draft lager. It's a Japanese beer.
Oh, our food's arrived. Oh, thank you.
Really, really good with sushi. Nice and crisp and refreshing. And also hot sake. Simple pleasure, but it's really, really good.
Some of the food has arrived. I got my Empire roll. And Tina was much cooler than me. She got an Empire roll and a yellowtail roll. The sashimi platter as well. There you go. And there it is, the garlic fried rice covered in an egg. Let's do this.
I was telling Adam that if you want Japanese food in New York, Monday, which is today, is pretty much the worst place, the worst time to go, because Monday's the day that the restaurants restock on fresh fish. So most of the Japanese places are closed, but this place, Izakaya Mew, or M-E-W.
We kept thinking it had something to do with a cat.
Or the Pokemon. He doesn't get it. You get it. Yeah, but it was really, really good. The fish was excellent, and the grilled food was really good. Good drinks. It was excellent.
I liked my sushi more than I liked the garlic rice. Garlic rice was kind of whatever, but the sushi itself was quite good.
Yeah.
So, not the best sushi place I've ever been to, but in a pinch, for sure,
not bad.
Better than most. Good morning. It is day 2. I am back at Newark Airport. Today we're going to kill some time because we got a long wait until our flight comes up. We're going to go back to that big United Club Lounge. I'll show you more stuff in there, and then we are off to the old world, Portugal. Okay, we're in, and we've made base camp back there. And now I'm going to head over to the buffet type of thing and see what we got going on today. Coffee machine, as always. And there's the sandwich buffet, taco bar. Nice. Check this out. It's even got a foosball table. Now that's quality. an open bar. Well, I don't know if it's open, but there is a bar. Full taco bar. There's like rigatoni stuff there, and there's a bunch of taco ingredients. You can make that yourself. There's a salad bar going on over there, soups, and over there there's sandwiches. Very nice. So here's what I made. I got a little pasta, got a taco, 2 different types of chicken, black beans, white rice, some cheese, and I threw on some token tomatoes so that I can pretend I'm an adult. Now in this other more loungy type of section of the lounge, you have different types of drinks, fruit drinks, coffees, of course. There's another espresso type of machine. This one's out of order. There's one over there. Random bags of chips, make some tea, got cereals, and there's some pastry things, but they keep kind of restocking. Very good. Final result, I went and added some guacamole to that, but otherwise the taco's the same. Still got the pasta. And we got a little caprese sandwich thing here, and of course, coffee. See, one thing I like that they did is over there, there's booth seating as if it's like a diner. I think that's really neat. You also have nice scenery as well as you can see outside, and on a better looking day, you'd see the whole skyline of Manhattan, which is pretty nice, normally. So right here, you have the showers, and you go through there. We're not doing that, but I think that's awesome. We got round 2 here. I decided to make myself a little soup. This is a tomato basil soup, but I added things. I put some cheese in there, some white rice, some pork, some chicken. Yeah, gonna be good. I decided to hit up a little dessert bar, so I got 3 brownies, 3 cookies, and I decided to cover it in honey, because why not? So this is about to get interesting. There's chaotic weather here. Flights getting canceled all over the place. And apparently right now the Brussels airport, even though that's not where we're going, is all kinds of messed up. They're having a big strike, like people can't fly out of there. It's screwing everything up. It's all ripple effect. So we're being rerouted. Instead of going directly to Portugal, we're stopping in Dublin, Ireland. What the hell? Let's go.
Now is a good time to review the safety card in the seat pocket in front of you. Please take a look, even if you are a frequent flyer.
Just a heads up for my fellow Americans, the Republic of Ireland is one of the few countries where you can do U.S. pre-clearance before you leave the country. Okay, so my girlfriend's gonna go enjoy the benefits of being an EU citizen that will actually get her through security faster. This is where it's a trade-off. So I just cleared customs right there. I thought I'd take a second because this is not my first time in Ireland, but I'm also exhausted, so I apologize, but I thought I'd give you guys some pro tips. If you're an American citizen, and this applies to a lot of different countries, obviously friendly nations throughout Europe, so like the Canadians, for example, whatever. Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, participates in the visa waiver program with various countries, just like the United States and mainland Europe does. So what that means is, even though I had no intention of being here today, I didn't have to notify this country in advance that I was coming. You just kind of show up and they check your passport. If everything's valid, they stamp it and you're good to go. Now, interestingly, Ireland is one of the few countries in the EU that is not part of what's called the Schengen Zone. The Schengen Zone is basically an agreement between countries in mainland Europe where they have borders, but it's kind of like the US with the states. The borders exist, but it's meaningless. You can go from one country to the other, or in the case of the US, one state from the other without any sort of check. Despite that, even though this is part of the EU, it's not part of the Schengen Zone. So when we leave here, we will enter back into mainland Europe. We'll have to go through security again. Of course, my girlfriend, being an actual EU citizen, she just scans her thing and walks in. Me, I gotta go through the normal lane, which is totally fine. It's not exactly a hard process. But keep that in mind if you're ever out here. Depending on your nationality, there will be some measure of customs, but nothing too complicated. So if you've never been to any part of the EU, what you'll see out here, this is the customs declaration. Most of the time you don't have to deal with this, but if you have anything that's, considered not necessarily welcome in the country, usually it's food products, this is where you're supposed to declare it. Now, technically it's on the honor system, but you don't want to risk that if you actually have something. So as I'm sure a lot of you know, the power outlets in Europe are different than they are in North America. Most of mainland Europe uses this type of thing. However, the UK and the Republic of Ireland do not. But I came prepared. I got this thing, and on the side it says UK, even though we're not in the UK. I can't make that clear enough, but it's got this thing, and now we'll be good to go. Travel prepared, because you don't know where you're gonna end up. I'm gonna explore a little bit because our room isn't quite ready. I'm exhausted. My girlfriend very tired. She's sitting up in the lobby just trying not to collapse. I need to move around a little bit. So I'm actually gonna give you guys a pro tip. If you're an American, actually this really applies to anybody. I'm going to show you, this is not a joke. It's gonna seem like a joke, but it's not a joke. You ever need a safety, a little embassy? Look for that. This is like an American flag around the world. And I mean that in a very positive way. A Starbucks, you don't have to like their coffee, it's fine. But here's a policy for Starbucks. They have air conditioning or heating, depending on the time of the year. They will give you free water. Typically, they'll let you use the bathrooms. They will let you stay in there as long as you need. It's basically what I'm saying is if you're ever exploring somewhere and you just need a break, not a bad place to go, just to kind of recharge. They also have power outlets, so you can literally recharge stuff. That's my advice to anybody. You don't have to buy anything when you go in there. If you're traveling around the world, a Starbucks can seriously be a little bit of a respite, which is why I refer to it as the embassy. This would be a standard example of a license plate in the European Union, and then on the left, that symbolizes which country you're in. If you're ever looking for quick, easy food wandering around Europe, Spar, which I'm pretty sure is how it's actually pronounced, is a pretty common chain throughout Europe that you can go into. It's like a grocery store type of thing. Here's some oddities like this. I just came from New York. Trust me, this is not a thing there. There's another one here. Italian style pepperoni pizza. Okay. You might notice oddities like certain drinks. I don't think Dr. Pepper exists in most of Europe, but here they have it and the packaging is totally different. Also real sugar, not high fructose corn syrup. Coca-Cola usually mostly looks the same, but again, real sugar. Then you get some other oddities like Mountain Dew is actually spelled all the way out instead of MTN. And we have some sort of weird halo drink going on here. Interesting. If you guys remember in my Orlando video, I made reference to the fact that I was surprised to see Costa coffee. Well, now we're in Europe where it is more common, specifically in both Ireland and the UK. I ended up getting one of these double espresso shots, and like I said, made in the UK. Boom. So I'm gonna head out and get something to eat. I kind of took a power nap there for a couple hours and had another coffee. My girlfriend's just done. She's completely asleep, so let her be. I managed to sleep for a couple hours on the plane. She did not. And I want to sync up because I'll be here for a while, but she's back in her own time zone now, so she's got plenty of time to catch up. But I wanted to make the most of the time that we actually have here in Dublin to at least show you a couple things and frankly to also experience something. So we are down near an area called the Grand Canal Docks, which you can see a sign for back there. It's basically just a waterway system that leads all the way into the city and then eventually, you know, out into the ocean, technically. I'm not actually super familiar with this part of Dublin. Originally the first time I was here, I stayed more into town than I am right now. I'm a little more on the outskirts of the city. I say that just because it's literally geographically like the end of the city. But yeah, it seems like a pretty nice area. You know, funny enough, I don't think I've ever mentioned it, but Dublin's actually my favorite city in Europe, at least the ones I've been to. It's got this like quaint vibe, but it feels familiar. It's chill. And I don't even drink. Like, you know, the stereotype is a thing. You know, there's a lot of bars here. But no, I remember having an absolutely wonderful time wandering around here, and everything is grid-based, which is kind of rare for Europe. Usually it's just chaos, but this seems like surprisingly organized. Now, my fellow Americans, you may notice the whole driving on the opposite side of the road thing, which is commonly associated with the UK, which of course, again, I cannot stress this enough. Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, is a separate country. It is not part of the UK. But the driving on the opposite side of the road thing, that's always an island thing. Australia does that, Japan does that. Obviously, like I said, the UK does that. But like I mentioned in a different video, even in the US, there's one part of the US that does that, and that's the US Virgin Islands. It's always islands, man. So on the ground, you're gonna see something they clearly built for, well, my people, the Americans. So when you get to a street, your instinct may not be to look in that particular direction. So they set these up so that you know, you don't get hit by a car. You know, there's something I probably should have clarified earlier, because it was chaos leaving out of New York due to, like I said, weather issues and primarily a lot of aviation issues on this side of the pond, particularly in Brussels. So a lot of flights were getting canceled, people were being rerouted. Since we were just ultimately going to Portugal, that's where my girlfriend lives, there was no real priority on getting there any special way. So we were offered the option to basically reroute first through Dublin, that would get us into Europe, And then we could go from there down to Spain, and then from Spain over to Portugal, which is what we're gonna do. But since we were like, well, we're coming here kind of on their dime, I thought it would be worth our time to maybe stop here for a couple of days, at least in Dublin's case. In Spain, maybe not so much. I've never been to Spain, so I can't really show you guys anything like off the top of my head. We'd have to actually plan it. Maybe we'll do one little thing, but then we'll get to Portugal and then the adventure will continue. This is something you'll notice very frequently. I mean, this happens to be a bank, an American bank, so it makes sense that our flag would be here. But Irish-American relations are very good, very friendly countries towards each other. So you will actually see the American flag a lot. Like in places where it doesn't even make sense. Like this makes sense. Again, it's an American bank, but yeah, it just shows up a lot in this country. So I'm no expert on Irish history, and I don't claim to be, but here's like a little bite-sized version of events as far as I can tell. So in this area, you have these two rather significant sized islands, and then a bunch of little islands. All of that together is referred to as the British Isles, which can often be deemed as an offensive term, particularly in this country, but geographically speaking, that is the accurate term. Now, among them, they were split into different ways through a long series of events we don't need to go into, but on the one side, you have the United Kingdom, which consists of England, Wales, Scotland, and that section is known as Great Britain. Then there's a fourth part called Northern Ireland. Those four together are a single country, sovereign nation called the United Kingdom. And on the second island, that's where Northern Ireland is, there's also a second completely independent country called the Republic of Ireland. This particular island that we are on, overall, is called Ireland, but again, is split into two sections. Long history there, but typically when you hear people saying, like, you know, kiss me, I'm Irish, or whatever, they're referring to this, the Republic of Ireland, which is a completely separate sovereign nation from anything to do with England, Great Britain, or the United Kingdom. Cobblestone roads and a horse. Why not? More flags. I'm telling you, see? The Irish and American flags are always very prominent. Everybody else just kind of gets one. Come on, you can't tell me something's up with this one. You got the Irish flag, then the American flag, then the European Union flag. Obviously, you'll see the European Union flag as the Republic of Ireland is a member of the European Union. But I dare say, just casually observing, I would say you see the American flag more often than you see the EU flag. And certainly not anything official, like a government building or whatever. But socially speaking, I'm not sure what that means, if it means anything. It's just an observation. So last time I was here, we were walking around, and my girlfriend and I, and we were walking around, we saw a Canadian flag, and then next to it was the only Tim Hortons in Europe at the time. And we went to it. It was disgusting. And Tim Hortons is horrible. If you guys have seen my Canadian videos, you know I really don't like it. But we decided to try it just for the gag. It was so bad that I had to throw away the coffee. Like, I would wince every time I would drink it. My girlfriend's like, that's it, you're done with that. And she took it and threw it away because it was horrific. But I'm happy to report that one's gone. It went out of business or something. Maybe they realized, like, this is inedible shit and this shouldn't be food. The bad news, it looks like the Tim Hortons virus has spread across the UK, because there's a bunch of them over in the UK as well as in Northern Ireland, which of course is still part of the UK. So you win some, you lose some. You may have noticed that second language that's on things. I'm no expert in this, but that's a language called Gaelic. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and that's how it's pronounced. I've personally never heard anybody speak that here, and it's my understanding it's primarily just like an educational thing, just to preserve some aspect of cultural heritage. But yeah, really everybody speaks English here. So we're down here at one of the epicenters of Dublin. So you got the flag everywhere. This is very much a populated area, and it has the giant metal stick. I don't know exactly what this is for. Somebody told me once that the purpose of it was just that Dublin needed a thing, so they just built a thing. I don't know how accurate that is, if it really truly represents something. I'm sure it's more than that, but there you go. There's the giant metal stick. So I'm feeling like some real Irish food, so I think this will fit the bill. Yeah. All right, here we go. I think I'm gonna do this just because it seems Irish as hell, and I really want something traditionally Irish. I don't drink, hence the water, although amusingly it is in a Guinness mug, but yeah. And here it is, my Irish casserole, my Guinness casserole, which has like beef and potatoes. I wanted the stereotypical Irish food experience. So I mixed it all together because I'm a heathen, but I just want even flavor throughout. They also give me salt and pepper, but hopefully that's not necessary. So I just got out of there. Not bad. I could have used I ended up using the salt. The beef was fantastic, and it's Irish beef is a big thing. Potatoes themselves were good. Overall, it was just kind of like okay. Good, but not amazing. But that's okay. It hit exactly what I wanted. I wanted the stereotypical potatoes and meat type of dish. So yeah, I checked this place out. You might be able to find better. I'm sure the locals could tell you better. I had never been to this one before. It's just what Google recommended. Oh, and a pro tip on this, because I haven't been here. I haven't been to Europe in a few years, since pre-pandemic. But you got to remember when you look at the prices of stuff here, tax is built in already. You're already paying that. Plus, tipping is not really very common in most parts of Europe. So basically what you see is what you pay. Silly me, I just found a very quaint local Irish place that was just recommended to me. McDonald's. Don't know, I think they have burgers. As I walk, I figured I'd talk a little bit about something. Something that dawned on me that is common sense to me at this point, because I've been to Europe a bunch of times, but a lot of people haven't. So I thought it'd be interesting to point out how like credit cards and your phone and things like that work. If you're going to travel internationally, you should have a credit card that has no foreign transaction fees. That's extremely common. Just make sure that's the case. When you do that, then you won't have to deal with any sort of fee for having used your credit card. It's just proceed as normal. You can technically use things like ATM cards and all that, but depending on your bank, you might get charged a fee. Personally, I recommend never using cash, like never go to an ATM to withdraw euros or pounds in the case of the UK. It's foolish. It's not a good investment. Whereas if you keep everything digitized, you know, it's just simpler and you're not stuck with a bunch of basically useless money at the end of it if you end up with cash. The same goes for, like I've had family who are like, oh, I'm going overseas, so I'm going to go to the bank and exchange a bunch of money at the currency exchange. Don't do that. That's a terrible, terrible idea. That's how they basically trick rubes, if you will, into like getting money. Don't ever do that. If you're going to do the currency exchange thing, do it when you land. And don't exchange currency, withdraw it directly from your ATM. The fees will be lower, basically you get more money for your money. But that's why I recommend credit cards that have no foreign exchange fees, because you won't get hosed. And then when it comes to your phone, that depends on your cell phone provider, but a lot of countries will support most American phone plans, or at least the better ones. For example, I have Verizon and they totally function here. But it lets me know like, hey, you know, if you want to use data, it's going to cost like a nominal fee per day. But after that, you're just, you know, you're on your normal phone plan. So yeah, make sure you check into that kind of stuff before you travel abroad. So something else to point out that maps do not make super obvious is how truly north Europe is. It's actually much further north than most of the inhabited parts of North America. It's just that the way ocean currents work, this part of this northern section is vastly more climate compatible with human beings. But because you are so far north relative to what I am used to, that's where the sun comes into effect. So you get more of like that Alaska effect. So for example, the sun, at least at this time of the year, doesn't set here until close to like 9:30 or 10 p.m. I know I kind of touched on this earlier, but I can't express enough how easy Dublin is to navigate on foot, even if you're not from here. Like first time I was here, everything just kind of clicked. It's like it's all grids, which I'm very used to, because a lot of American cities are like that. And most European cities are not. But this one's very easy, and you know, I'm not checking my phone. I know how to get back, even though it's like a half-hour walk away. Basically, you just kind of find a point on the map and just go as straight as long as you can, and then just kind of remember when you deviated. But that can be very confusing in a lot of cities. So there was a bunch of announcements. Apparently there's some sort of marathon going on, so people are supporting them, cheering them on. That's actually kind of cool. Even funnier when the lady was talking about the fact that they're doing a marathon right now. She was like, man, the sun actually came out. We never see that. I was like, I want to think I brought that. That makes sense. You can see the sun back there. He's like, what's up, man? I got your back. I know you need footage. Hopefully you guys can hear those announcements happening back there. Basically all she said was that the first person from this actually crossed already, which is kind of amazing. I'm going to say something that I think is probably going to be very misinterpreted by a lot of people, so I'll try to explain this as clearly as possible, because I don't want to offend anyone when I say this. But for somebody who's never been here and is just kind of curious about what it's like as a tourist and culturally what it kind of feels like, and I can only say that from the perspective of a tourist, of course, you might say that Canada feels like a version of the United States that was colonized and conquered by the British, because technically that's what actually happened. Ireland feels like the mirror flip. It feels like a version of the UK run by the Americans, which obviously did not happen. But, and we should stop using that term, but it feels Americanized. Like I said, our flag is everywhere. There's really no mention of the monarchy, because certainly they fought a long war against that, just like we did. And, you know, it's hard to explain. And it might largely be because Irish culture is so integrated into American culture that just kind of the reverse happened as well. But if you're talking about, you know, if you're just curious, like, what is it like to be in all these places? All of them are great, all of them are very friendly, awesome places, and they all have their own flavor. But it's just kind of funny, like, again, Canada feels like, you know, it feels like the United States run by the British, and Ireland feels like the UK run by the Americans. Even though that's not accurate, it just feels that way. So I hope I'm not offending anybody. Hopefully that message is coming through clearly. It's hard to offend Irish people. They're like the most chill, cool people ever.
And that'll do it for part 1. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned to part 2, in which we will continue the adventures throughout Dublin, and then we will make our way onward to Spain and ultimately on to Portugal. So as always, if you guys can do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, go in the social media stuff in the description, hit the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, etc. I appreciate the support. Thank you guys very much for watching, and of course, I will see you all later.